And here in the cold alpine air of Davos, Marietje Schaake, so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So, just walk down the promenade and you can feel this exuberance and the presence of all of these AI tech companies here. There are many conversations happening about AI this week, but I want to ask you, are they the right ones?
I think all in all, so many conversations are taking place that sure, every topic is discussed. I don't think there's any stone unturned when it comes to AI, but they are very much parallel conversations, civil society organizations worrying about civil liberties or discrimination. Others worrying about inclusion of the global south, like the UN panel that I was a part of this morning. Companies pushing the opportunities that AI has to offer, but they're not really coming together. So that's the element that I'm missing. I would love to see more confrontation between the corporates that are promising, heaven on earth through AI, and those experts as well, academics, but also, civil society leaders that are very concerned about what the harms are and will be in the future.
Big conversation, of course, is about jobs. And on the eve of this forum, the IMF published a report with a pretty staggering statistic that as much as 40% of the workforce could be impacted by AI in the coming years, in developed countries even higher. Shouldn't that be the policy conversation that's dominating this place right now?
Oh, absolutely. I think it should be much more prominent of a discussion, and not only, estimates of how many jobs are going to get lost, because often these studies have a long time horizon, but what are the social implications, the political implications? Because even a small percentage of job loss or the need to reskill can lead to incredible unrest in society, and I think we should not underestimate the impact it would have, not so much on the functionality of AI, but really the ripple effects as they go through society.
To that point, many have compared this AI moment to the rise of globalization in the sense that globalism worked for the people that it worked for, but it also created this very wide inequality gap in other places. Do you see that potential with AI? And how is it too late even? Has that horse left the stable, or can we rectify that situation?
Well, I think we already see it. If you look at the concentration of capital, the handful of companies that are really the only ones capable of acquiring the amounts of data, compute, talent, lobbying power, and investments to build out these large language models and to be key players in the AI space, goes at the expense of others. I mean, in every boardroom, there are discussions about how can we save with the help of AI. So this is not a future discussion, it's already happening. People have been laid off in 2023 as a result of AI. And so yes, it's happening, and inequality is a major concern that I think will be exacerbated as a result of this technology.
AI regulation is certainly a conversation on the global stage. You see the formation of this UN advisory body. You're a member of it, I should say. And obviously the EU in December came to an agreement around the AI Act. But at the election level, as candidates all around the world are out there, do you think that the conversation is happening loud and proud enough?
Well, the country that I know best, the Netherlands, has had elections in November, and AI and the role of technology did not play a role at all in the campaign. It was about immigration, about housing, about climate change, but not about new technologies. And I think the mistake that might be luring is that people think of AI as a topic, but it's really a layer on everything. It impacts national security, it impacts education, healthcare, climate change, science. So it should be integrated into all the discussions that we have. And I think governments must act now. Political candidates must have a vision about what it is they want to do with regard to jobs that might be replaced by AI, national security challenges, concentration of power in the hands of very few AI companies, and the future of democracy.
Final question. This is obviously an enormous election year, not just for the United States, but all around the world, including the EU Parliament, of which you were a member. To what extent do you think AI will factor in the election? First, potential rise of populism from the issues we were just talking about, but then also just as a technology itself.
So as a technology, I think is $1 million question, because it is so new and so under-researched from a public interest and democracy point of view, because companies don't give access to their algorithms. And we really need to understand better, what the impacts are of different settings, of different use cases. And that's really hard without having that kind of independent academic research into these systems. 2024 has been called the year of democracy. I can honestly only hope that we still think about it that way a year from now. a lot is at stake, and I feel like the combination of the experimental character of AI, and particularly generative AI, and the concentration of all these elections should put us on high alert and really have sort of specialized teams out there in different countries to learn from each next election, where we already see the use of deep fakes, the selling of very inexpensive generative AI technologies that can be used to deceive.
Marietje Schaake, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.